Hello friends, welcome to Islington Listens, wisdom from a community of faith that doesn't think the same, vote the same, or love the same, but we are trying our best to follow in the way of Jesus with compassion and hope.
Friends, from the moment we awake, if our windows are open, musical notes find us. The call of the robin tells us that this city is filled with places and birds that help us tune back into the world's natural soundtrack. You might go to Colonel Sam Smith Park or St. James Park, Humber Bay, Park East, the Etobicoke Valley Park. The truth is that music will find you, and you hear it differently in the places where green space is found. We hear it differently when we're moving and engaged in God's creation, or when we're sitting quietly in places that help us listen, like in this sanctuary. In fact, it is often the bird song that is first to remind us that we come so close to God, and God comes so close to us that we know what God wants us to do. Some of us live our faith publicly by joining in song together week after week to practice and make music. Others, like Tom and Anastasia, have a whole other life beyond leading our ministry of music here from the sound perspective. Tom has roots as a drummer, which overpowered the sound of his motorcycle and being outside seeing the world. And Anna has her own music school that helps children to find their way. They have taught me just one story about how musicians care for the sound of our singers, not only here at IUC, but also how they care for the birds and the song makers of our city. So after many years of inviting, Tom finally said yes to sharing a moment of this story with us today. You got this, brother.
Hello. I've been working here 15 years. It's about time I got some time on the mic. I'm Tom, and growing up, I spent about as much time in the forest as I did indoors. But it's only in the last few years I've begun to really marvel at the intricacy and beauty of the natural world around me. Birdsong in particular, from the ethereal flute-like notes of a hermit thrush to the bright cyclical melodies of an indigo bunting. These vocalizations are astonishingly complex and refined over millions of years of evolution. When we stop and listen, we hear something much older than ourselves. What you're hearing right now is a hermit thrush. We can't even imagine a world without birdsong, but it is under threat. In the last 50 years, North American bird populations have dropped 70%. In less than a span of a human lifetime, we have watched many species suffer dramatic losses, while others have disappeared forever. Fringe evidence suggests that humans may have something to do with that. As it turns out, we have a few habits that make coexisting on this planet very difficult for basically all other living things. There's much to be done, and Maya asked me to share with you some of the things I've been up to. But before I do that, I want to ask you something. I have some props today. Okay. For the tech person, I probably should have done a better job here, but it is what it is. Okay, so here are two pictures. I've got one on the right, one on the left. One on the left, one on the right, your perspective. Tell me which one you think is a tree and which one you think is a reflection of a tree. So I want your hands up if you think that this is the tree, if you can even see it. And hands up if you think it's this one that's a tree. I don't think everybody put their hands up, but it's about 50-50, so that's kind of my point. Psych, they're both reflections. I took those photos myself. I printed them myself, and Anastasia helped me glue them. So birds fly into glass because just like us, they can't tell the difference between a reflection or real habitat in open sky. And this results in window strikes, the leading threat to birdsong. It most often occurs at tree level or the first 6 floors of a building, not skyscrapers, that's a common misconception, but houses, cottages, and low-rise buildings. Caring about this is why Anastasia and I get up at 5:30 in the morning 3 times a week during spring and fall migration to volunteer. On busy mornings, we find upwards of 50 birds that have died from window strikes in just a few hours. It's incredibly hard to see them die this way, especially after they have nearly completed migrations that carry them thousands of kilometers, sometimes from Central America, sometimes from further south than that. So for the past 5 years, I've volunteered with conservation organizations like FLAP and Neverclyde. These groups work to prevent bird deaths from window collisions by recording data, rescuing injured birds, and using that information to push for safer buildings and design standards. When I first started, I knew almost nothing about this issue. Like many people, I'd grown up occasionally seeing a bird hit a window. Sometimes it died, and sometimes I'd be relieved to see it fly away. Well, plot twist, even the ones that fly away, they just die later due to internal injuries. It's like above 90%. It's hard to comprehend this stat, but the data shows that up to 1 billion birds die per year in North America from window strikes alone. This awareness has completely changed the way I see the so-called developed world. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. If you've ever been in the car with me while I'm passing a big glass reflective building, you better grab the wheel because my eyes aren't going to be on the road. I'll be watching for fallen birds and sometimes whether the windows have been treated, because you are seeing buildings treat their glass in Toronto these days. That's the most important news here, is that this is preventable. If the reflections that are deceiving the birds are broken up, then they won't collide. So I have another prop. This is a product made by Feather Friendly in Mississauga. These dots, spaced 2 inches apart on the outside of the glass, are over 95% effective at eliminating bird window strikes. There's incredible footage online of birds flying towards treated glass just like this, and in the final moments, they change direction or they stop because they can recognize that this is a hard surface, it's not a reflection of a tree. It's that easy. You might not be in the glass market right now, I totally get it, but you don't need to replace your windows. All you have to do is apply these dots to the outside of the glass. Anastasia and I treated 2,000 square feet of glass at Humber College last summer, and if we can do it, so can you. There are numerous DIY methods too that are just as effective, so if you're interested, you can talk to me after service and I can show you all your options. But don't be fooled by the hawk sticker. That doesn't work, a single little hawk sticker in the corner. The reflections need to be broken up across the entire surface of the glass for this to be effective. And really quickly, here are 2 other ways to keep the bird song alive. Keep your cats inside. Cats allowed outdoors, unfortunately, kill millions of birds every year. I know everybody says it's not my cat, it's your cat. Don't get me wrong, I love cats. And growing up, we built our cat a catio. It's a little enclosed patio for a cat. It kept the cat safe, it kept Patrick safe, and it kept the native birds, mammals, and reptiles, the lizards, all this stuff safe as well. And dog owners, you're not off the hook. Please keep them leashed in natural areas because fledglings and ground nesting birds like plovers and killdeer, they're sitting ducks, so to speak. Lastly, plant native plants. They are the food for the food that feeds our songbirds. Our bees, our caterpillars, and our beetles require specific plant species to complete their life cycle. Plants they evolved alongside for millions of years. Without those relationships, the food chain falls apart and our skies fall silent. So my plea for birdsong to continue is directed to everybody here who has a lawn or a garden or a balcony. we have the power to bring nature that supports birds back. If we shift the way we think of our green spaces from exotic plants and curb appeal towards living landscapes that support biodiversity, then we will all flourish, and future generations may still wake to the sound of birdsong, the first music of our planet.
When you offer words of wisdom, you know that what comes to awaken you to something that can be done is all kinds of emotions, just the way the repertoire of music calls us into action. They love us into action. Sometimes you are prodded into action because there's no option. Sometimes you just want to scream at the world. Thom did not talk about the times that they have driven by yelling things out the window from frustration. When you love something, you can't help but do something. And we are grateful for the clarity and the story and the time that you and Anna and your teams offer to the world. And the conversation is just beginning. Thank you for helping us today to not take it for granted, to be grateful for those who have gone before, who colored our glass and told stories in it so our birds could nest nearby and not be in danger. Friends, the music of our lives is layered. It needs nurture and care. And I am grateful that every time we gather in this place, we are reminded, we are sung to and through of Creator's life and love alive in us. Creation that's worth tending, worth waking up to, worth tuning into birdsong that calls us to be only here right now. It's much more than background noise. In fact, birdsong triggers relaxation in our bodies and signals to our whole nervous system that we are safe and grounded. The music of the Songbirds sets the stage for our prayer practice and for creativity and action. As Palestinian poet Marwan Makhoul wrote, "In order for me to write poetry that isn't political, I must listen to the birds. And in order to hear the birds, the warplanes must be silent." In this light, knowing birdsong calls us to actions of peace and freedom, gratitude for the simple, quiet privilege of being alive. We find ourselves in this space today, listening and wondering, could it be that in all of this, God is singing?
Thanks for listening, friends. For other ways to connect, go to islingtonunited.org. May God's wisdom and love keep finding you.